Great to be back. I've missed all of you.
Gave you a week off.
Yeah, it was a little more than a week. Yeah, I missed our time together. So, with that, are there any questions?
Wes, what did you think of how the offensive line just coalesced and came together in that game against Cleveland?
Yeah, the O-line, obviously, anytime you're down, down some pieces, and that's kind of been a little bit of the story this year. But that group is extremely tight-knit. Not only did we have confidence in the guys that were going in to play at some positions, first time ever in an NFL real game with Huber, or first time ever playing the center position in an NFL football game, a real game with Blake. But throughout the week, the way that they prepared, the way that they practiced, gave, I think, everybody a lot of confidence going in that they were going to play well and just execute the plays as they're called. And then can't say enough either about Justin School playing on both sides of the line within one football game and really having a heck of a ball game. So the versatility of all of those guys, but Blake being a guy who's played tackle, guard, and now center in NFL football games is pretty rare, pretty unique. And then that's why you have a swing tackle like Justin School who can step in and play the right side when needed. Okay, now we have a switch and he's playing left, and now Rouse is playing in at the right side for that game-winning drive at the end of the game. So I can't say enough about those guys. The way they prepare, they were physical throughout the football game. We knew it could be kind of a dirty, ugly game with that front and that scheme of defense. And I think they responded really well.
Kevin talked a lot, or has talked about it on one of the news last week to kind of identify identity, areas of growth, improvement. What did you kind of take away from time last week?
Well, yeah, I think Kevin kind of alluded to more times than not. It's kind of the old adage, you lose more games than you win, and offensively, as a microcosm of that, a lot more often than not, you can look back and you can say, okay, we turned the ball over here, or we had a early down penalty that set us behind the sticks. You can look at all the percentages on odds of scoring when you have those types of things. That's just ultimately we feel it's a little more about us, and that when we haven't had those things, we've moved the ball fairly well throughout the year. Obviously, some detailed things that we want to get better at in certain schemes, those types of things. But more than anything, it's about not hurting ourselves, keeping the ball in play, getting it to all these playmakers that we have consistently, and letting those guys do their thing, protect the football, and get us yards after the catch.
Just when it comes to Blake filling in at center, how much was his experience in this offense just a factor of him being able to do that?
Yeah, I think, Chris Cooper and then Keith being here with him this year, but even going back to years past, Blake hasn't played a lot of center, but they're always working those guys because of these situations. These interior backups particularly have to at least be swing guards, if not have some center flex. Centers that are only centers kind of limit you with your roster. Generally they have to at least function at guard. So those guys get worked in throughout an off season. Blake's been taking snaps for a long time now. Whether it's just QC exchange, whether he gets some scout team reps, those things get mixed in. A lot of times guys don't even notice, and they're getting mixed in at different positions, and it's for these types of situations. Walter Rouse has played mostly tackle, but he's sprinkled in at guard. If we need him at guard, he's going to be ready, or at least a little more prepared. So Blake's had some of that training over time, and he's had practice with the snaps. I mean, that's always the first thing is he going to snap it over the guy's head or something? We had Carson back there, so pretty good size. We felt good about that, but he's at least been trained over the years to be ready for this opportunity when it came, and he really stepped up. The communication was what I think everyone was really impressed with throughout the week, and then obviously the play in the game.
With Ryan on injury reserve, you obviously need a center here for another few weeks at least. Do you look at Blake as a guy who can play center, or a guy who might, could be a longer term answer there?
Yeah, the way Blake handled this game, I think we might be looking at a situation where this could be his best position of all five across the line, and getting Juergens back into practice is just a plus for us, and we'll see where all those guys are at throughout the week as we assess.
Wes, what are some of the gauges you look at? Max Brosmer is improving and had gotten to the point where you might have played him when Carson doesn't slide.
Yeah. Okay. There's a little extra in that one. No. Yeah, it's just the continuous development of the football players. I mean, much like Blake had to go in there and play center for us, but Max, he obviously gets all the scout team reps. He's getting coached in those reps as much as we can. Take whatever plays that we're seeing on a card as a look team and convert that to our language and our footwork and our reads, our protection schemes, all those things for all those players in there. Those reps are valuable, and it's generally harder for that look team quarterback, just in that sometimes it's protection-wise a little bit tougher, or maybe they don't have the right protection against a certain pressure that Flo wants to bring that he thinks is going to get home or going to stress their protection. So those guys are kind of buzzing the tower a lot, but it's if you take it the right way, it's really good work for a young quarterback of hitting that back foot, playing in rhythm, seeing the concepts and getting the ball out of your hand. And then at times, different quarterbacks, they want him to scramble around and do some things off schedule, so he gets an opportunity for that. And then the preparation, no one is going to question Max's preparation going into any football game, no matter if he was supposed to be the emergency 3 or the 2 or if he was going in as a starter. I mean, we all feel great about intangibly everything that Max brings to the table. And you just hope that, as he learns more and more about this system, about the NFL, about defenses, going through meetings and practice, and then obviously those reps that he does get, you have to make the most of those reps as a look team player. You can't just treat it as, hey, I'm just giving them a look. These are my reps. These are my chance to improve as a football player, and he certainly does that.
How nice is it just to have JJ back in practice?
His energy, enthusiasm. I mean, he's been great. Not being a part of practice, just being around the football team as he's been rehabbing. But yeah, JJ's great to have out there. It's great to see him out there throwing. His arms nice and rested. The ball's spitting out pretty good. But yeah, it's been great to have him out there.
Wes, as you kind of evaluate Carson's body of work, what is the best thing he's done that's allowed him to have success?
Well, I think he's really taken on the mindset of some of these games and some of the ways that we felt like we had to win some of these games. Getting the ball out of our hands a little bit quicker in some instances, and putting the ball in play. And you look at 70 whatever percent completion percentage in some of these games where he's really done that. He's found ways, whether it's the first progression or he's got to work through something to get the ball in guys' hands and alleviate some of the tough rushers that we faced the last couple of weeks. He's bought into our system, our offense, our game plan in a specific week and executed it well. And he's shown a lot of toughness throughout that. Some of those times where maybe we're 5 yards from the first down, maybe we do get down on a couple of those, Mark. But but shown a lot of toughness and competitiveness, and it shows you kind of why he's had success in his past, just the talent level, but also he's a great competitor.
The return of Jordan and the ripple effect for what that frees up for Justin, maybe, like how have you seen that really open things up for both guys playing off each other, and how defenses kind of shifted now that they have to worry about both?
Yeah, I think coaches, as they watch tape, have a lot of respect for what Jordan Addison does, and I think if you really watch the tape, they should have a whole lot of respect for what Jalen Naylor has been doing out there. With all that being said, I still think you're going to get most of the attention as far as game plan type things, where who are we going to roll the coverage to, who are we going to double potentially on third down, who are we going to take our if teams have a match corner, who are we going to travel with? Those things are still going to be, in tune to Justin Jefferson, but it makes it much harder to do when you see Jordan Addison making the plays that he's made, Adam Thielen making some clutch third down conversions for us, Jalen Naylor winning all over the tape, whether he got the football or not on those particular plays. They're watching that tape and they're seeing those matchups that they also have to account for if we're going to take multiple people and account for Justin Jefferson. So a long way of saying I think we have a lot of good football players on the field, and that's without even mentioning our tight end group just in that receiver room that are a threat to the defense. So and we've just got to be able to adjust with whatever type of plan they have for Justin, and know that sometimes you're either running a route to win or you're running a route to get somebody else open, and that's the value that Justin can have without the football.
Wes, when did you guys get a sense that Xavier Scott could kind of be a unique option for you, someone who could line up at wide receiver? There's not too many running backs who can legitimately do that the way that he did for you, especially against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Zay, when we got him kind of middle of last year, whenever it was, we brought him in, you just saw this 225-pound or 230-pound athlete that was big and fast and explosive. So we were excited about him, but maybe a little harder than a quarterback potentially on a scout team to watch and kind of see, they're not getting tackled. They're not, how is he really going to be as a runner down in and down out? Not ever questioning the kid, but like how tough is he as a running back, running through the, in between the tackles, those types of things. And we were kind of excited just going into the year, like, can't wait to see this guy in a preseason game. Wait to see what he does. We know he can run routes very much like a receiver from his background, and he's got very natural hands, and he's explosive, all those types of things. But we ran him down the field some, like you mentioned in that Pittsburgh game, and he doesn't look out of place. But what we've been impressed with is the toughness, is the times, whether it's preseason or through the games this year, where he's had to cut up or run in between the tackles and get his pads down and kind of show that he can be a guy that you could hand it off to in whatever scheme. That doesn't matter who's in the football game. We can call that play and know that he'll execute it.
Wes, what catches your eye when you're watching this Eagles?
Well, a lot of things, I guess, but Vic Fangio's always been an excellent coordinator. Have been on teams that competed against his defenses for a lot of years, and always been a real challenge. One of the best. Obviously, those two interior defensive tackles are different. Size, explosiveness. Those guys have been big factors in a lot of plays throughout their time with the Eagles, and sometimes a little harder if an edge guy is going to be on the left side every time, and hey, we can scheme ways to get help with this, but if you got two big guys inside, you can't slide to both of them, And then they've also got pressures, and he's smart enough to know ways to get his guys singled up as well. So you're going to have to block those guys inside and try to minimize some of the push in the pocket, because they do, have some athletic edge guys, even with injuries they've had, that can bend and turn the corner on you. So it's going to be a real challenge up front in that aspect. Mitchell's playing really well, I think, at corner, and I know they've had some different injuries there. I think Cooper DeJean and Blankenship have been playing really good football, instinctive, good football players. So scheme is good. Like I said, Vic is great. So it's going to be a challenge. Every week is a new challenge. We got to kind of try to figure it all out. What are the problems? What are the issues? Where can we attack the defense? What do we expect them to do against us? All those type of chess match type things throughout the week. But they're certainly a good defense.
Thank you.
Thanks.